Okay, looks like we're ready to go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of the Gas Kings, happening on the third month of the third day of the 18th year, which is kind of funny, 333. I just noticed that. But joining me today are some familiar guests. I have Rafe, and I have Kakao, which I don't think you were on the last one, were you?
No.
Okay. If you want to just kind of explain where you're from and just an interesting thing about you.
I'm from the internet, and I'm here to do podcast shit. That's it.
Whoa, keep it PG, Mom.
PG, yo,
It's
I'm
not
getting
like
my
I'm
channel
saying
demonetized.
that other word, dude.
Don't, dude, stop.
I'm not saying that word. I'll try not to.
You better not. No, seriously. It's
Alright.
not cool.
But we got a pretty interesting episode for you. Some old topics, and yet we also have some new topics as well. We're going to start talking tech, which is a good passion of mine. And we're going to talk about some of the new smartphones that were unveiled this week, which there are a couple of pretty good looking phones. The S9 being the most prominent, and then there's a concept phone that really caught my eye. We're going to talk about Fortnite Season 3, because apparently that's
Challenge
big.
week 2. It's not season. Oh, well, I guess it's season, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we should have mentioned that last episode, but whatever. But
I meant like the challenges came out this week, so.
yeah, but yeah, we're going to talk about Season 3, and then we're going to talk about more school shooting stuff and more discussion around that area. So let's get right into the news, I guess. So
Let's jump into it.
Galaxy S9, S9 Plus. Rafe, you have an S8.
Plus,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Awesome. Best thing I've ever had in my life. TV. Well, not the best thing, easily. Well, it's alright. Like, I was kind of expecting more from it. Like, the camera isn't that good. Like, they had everything great with the S8, except for Bixby and the camera. Those two could have been upped a little bit, and the customization feature should have been more, like, they should have made it better. Because, like, on the S6, even the S4, like, since 2014 when it came out, that was probably one of the best Samsung phones to come out, in my opinion, because it came out with all these cool features. Like, if you look up or if you look down, like, you know, the page, like, if you're like, let's say I'm scrolling through, like an article or something, and I like look down the bottom of the phone, and you see like the page like slowly scrolling down too. It had like face recognition, which was like really good back then because we didn't have like technology like that. Well, we did, but you know, it wasn't on phones. It came out with fingerprint scanning. It came out with a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I think like the S4 was amazing, but at the same time, that kind of like brings me to like another point where now that I think about it, I feel like new phones aren't really like getting, or kind of like the S8 Plus, right? It didn't really come out with that many features. It just came out with like, you know, higher tech, like higher parts, better parts, like Snapdragon 800, something like that, which is like really good for a phone.
Which one are you talking about?
The S8 Plus.
The S8? Yeah, that came out with
Yeah.
the 835 Snapdragon.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that I feel like all like the cool technology, like fingerprint, face recognition,
Has already
voice
passed.
recognition, has already passed a long time ago, and they're not really implementing newer things. They're just like
Not a lot of
upgrading.
new design additions
Yeah.
being made. Yeah.
Like they tried Bixby, but that ended up terrible. Like I really wish they didn't add Bixby to the phone.
Yeah.
It's nothing but a mistake.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
At least the S9 though, what they did is they fixed it. They didn't get rid of Bixby, unfortunately. They for some reason love Bixby, even though no one likes her.
yeah.
They made a really really good camera. Like
Yeah, the S9 has
a
a new camera system. It is the first camera in any smartphone to have dual aperture
which helps
system.
you in nighttime.
Which helps.
Or, like, take pictures
So
at night.
what apertures do, it like allows more light to come into a lens, which is really helpful in low light, but like if you're in like a bright setting, then having that large aperture doesn't work. So what Samsung did, they are offering two apertures, a 2.4 and a 1.5, which is actually really good because if you're in a light setting, the 2.4 will help reduce a lot of light noise, I would say. and then if you're in a dark setting, a 1.5 will bring in a lot of that, a lot of the low light.
So basically, if you want to take nighttime pictures, get the 1.4. Well,
yeah.
It comes with both, right?
Yeah,
1.4.
so that dual aperture system comes with
Yeah.
both phones. Okay. But the thing is that the S9, the regular one, only has one camera, but that one has the aperture system. But the S9 Plus has a dual lens system, and that one comes with a telephoto lens and the dual aperture camera that we talked about before.
What's the telephoto lens?
So like a telephoto, so you know how like an iPhone works, like their dual system, like they have a wide angle lens and or like their regular camera lens, and then they have the like their telephoto lens, like their ×2.
Oh, so like zooms in.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Okay. I can't wait for a new Google phone to come out. There's
Google has definitely done a lot better things with their
Pixel
phones.
The Pixel 2 last year. Oh my god, the Pixel 2 killed it. Like,
the Pixel 2 was undoubtedly the best phone, I would say, to come out from last year.
I hated
because its camera's amazing. Like, there's a couple stuff. There's always a couple stuff that you can find bad about some phones.
Yeah.
But
the only thing that killed it for me was the design. I hated it. Some people loved it. I personally hated it. I don't like half. That just kind of looked ugly to me. I kind of like the Nexus 5, Nexus 6 type of design with it. Like, those phones are really old, but they're easily my favorite Android phone.
Yeah. Just a couple more things about the S9. It has upgraded specs, obviously. The fingerprint sensor that a lot of people hated, it's been moved. So it's not right next to the camera, it's below it, which is... so that's been a good design choice. Bixby isn't gone, which is a shame to most critics. And
they're not going to get rid of it.
They're not going to get rid of it, yeah, which is a shame. I wish you could remap... I wish you could remap that button, but...
That would be useful.
Yeah, but Samsung's not letting anybody remap that button. They want to push
remapping the button isn't, I feel like people... I mean, it's definitely better than having it as a basic button or just as a useless button.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't really care about it being remapped because I'm probably not going to use it personally.
Yeah. But yeah, well, then the S9 Plus also has a RAM increase from 4 gigabytes from the S9 regular and the S9 Plus has 6 gigabytes, which is kind of going to be a trend that we're going to see in this year's smartphones. Basically the S9 is just an S8 upgraded, which the S8 did a lot of things right, and S9 is just going to simply improve upon it. You're not going to really see it.
Did the Google Pixel have a headphone jack?
The Google Pixel did not.
Pixel
I'm pretty sure. The Pixel. I don't think the Pixel 2 had a headphone jack.
That was also a huge turn off for me.
Yeah, but the S9 does keep the headphone jack this time around.
Yeah, thank God. That's the main reason why I'm supporting this.
Yeah, as the headphone jack is being phased out, some companies are still holding on to it. So.
I understand why they don't want it. It's because they need more space to make it more compatible. But at the same time, dude, I don't get how people use dongles. I don't get how people enjoy that.
People, they're trying. So the kind of thing behind removing the headphone jack is people want to push the Bluetooth more Bluetooth headsets, less wires and stuff. And yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem with technology. It's really expensive, but. As we see more people let go of the headphone jack, we'll probably see less expensive earbud Bluetooth options, which will hopefully happen sooner rather than later.
I see it as a money grab, especially the way Apple did it, where they just took it away and it's like, yeah, if you want your phone,
120 AirPods, by the way, or like 120.
$150, $160.
No, I completely agree with that. What Apple did was trash. Yeah, no, what Apple did was, I really don't like Apple. I mean, I know you know that, Parker, but it's just, they're one of my least favorite companies in the whole world. I just hate, the stuff, they don't advance in technology, they're so, when they got the Face ID, that was such a big deal for, Apple fans, because literally every other phone had it except for theirs. And they're like, you know what, we're going to be nice, we're finally going to introduce this one new system.
Well, the thing about Face ID is that it's different from a lot of other phones in that it's purely dedicated face recognition compared to a lot of other
I mean, dude, my
compared to all
S8 Plus-
Android phones, really, because no Android phone up till I think the iPhone's the first system to actually have a full kind of face recognition system.
Not even, dude. I'm just saying right now, S7, even Google Nexus, like the Nexus 6, I think, even that.
Well, it's not the
really
same
good
thing.
face.
It wasn't the same thing. It
It
was
is, though.
it was
You literally just
unreliable.
look at the
It was
camera and
unreliable. What it was is that
How
like it
unreliable?
basically used the front facing camera and looked at your face, so you could easily trick it with a copy of somebody's face.
You could not, though.
Yes, you could.
No, with
Yeah, you
my
could.
S8 Plus, I've tried it myself. You cannot. You literally can't.
But you
You-
could.
with the
You
S8
could
Plus-
with those old. You could. You
With
could.
the old ones, yeah, the ones that came out in 2014, 2015, even some in 2016, obviously, that's like, I mean, you're comparing a 2018 product to, or late 2017 product to a old 2014, 2015 product. Of course it's going to be like that. But if you compare 2016 Android or 2017 Android, even, or 2018 Android, then it's literally just as good as Apple's. Like, I don't give them any credit on that. It really wasn't that hard. Well, I mean, it was hard, don't get me wrong.
It's
but
not.
considering
The
they're
thing
both,
about it
like,
is
really
that it
hard.
wasn't. So the thing about it is that when you're using Android solution of Face ID, so like their facial recognition software, it's not as well done or as well executed as the way Apple does it, because you have to hold your phone in a certain way in order for it to work. And Apple,
Not really.
in the way that
I mean,
yes,
I've seen it.
yeah.
I've seen here. I'll link you a video. Hold on, MKB, or I'm not sure if it was MKBHD, but they did face recognition comparisons to, or the S8 Plus, and it's literally the same exact thing. I'll try to find the video right now. Hold on.
But yeah, so that's kind of the whole thing. But speaking of kind of recognition and stuff, all of that, we're gonna move past the S9 and those kind of phones, and I want to talk about a phone that really catched my eye. So there's World Mobile Conference this week, which basically it's a smartphone show, and at there, they revealed Vivo, which is a Chinese-based company, I believe. They unveiled the Vivo Apex, which has a stunning design. So, if you haven't heard of the Vivo Apex, apparently it is a 99% screen-to-body ratio, which is insane. I don't think any phone has a 99%. I think the highest we've seen has been 96%, maybe.
What's the
97.
S8 Plus's screen ratio?
I think it's.
I know it's
I think
pretty
that
high.
one's 96 or 97.
96, yeah.
96, yeah. But Vivo's Apex, it's a concept phone, so it's not going to be out for a while.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
But it's an actual prototype product made in physical form, so that's good. And it's got two things going for it. It's 99% display, like its whole front display. It's basically covering the entire front side of the phone. It's pop-up selfie camera, and it's in-screen fingerprint sensor. And those are some really amazing features. So I'll just pull up a gallery of the phone. So this is kind of what it looks like. Here, I'll actually post this in Discord so y'all can look at it.
I was gonna say, if we can go back to that topic of the, what's it called? The Apple face recognition, because Hobbs is back here, and I think Hobb knows a little bit about that too. Or not. I'm not sure. You Hobb or not?
I think we're kind of beating the dead horse there. But it's a whole Samsung versus Apple, Android versus Apple, iOS, I don't care.
Oh, just saying.
It's a more of a what you prefer or whatever.
Well,
But
not way better, but it's the same exact thing. Like, well, I was just saying is how it took Apple a long time to get rid of like the Face ID, or to get the Face ID onto their new iPhone, even though like literally every other Android phone had it. But he's saying it's like better than any other Android phone, which I don't think is true.
whatever. But
Yeah.
so the Vivo Apex has a 99 or at least 98% screen to body ratio, which is insane. And you can see it from the concept photos or the concept pictures that we've been given. It looks amazing. It looks stunning. And if you could get like a really good OLED display on it, it would look like probably one of the best phones on the market.
Yeah, easily. That looks amazing.
It looks really good. It looks very featured. So it has a dual camera mount. There's no specifics on any of the hardware in the phone.
Yeah.
But if you can go like yeah. But where was I? So there's no actual like product specs listings or whatever on it. But it has a dual aperture system. It has a front-facing selfie camera that actually pops out of the phone to make room for all that.
No way. That's it.
Yeah, which is actually a
Like,
really
open
good
up.
solution to like instead of having a notch like Apple and so many other companies are doing now. Oh, because a
What
lot of
is a
phones
notch?
at World Mobile Conference have been announced with like an Apple-like notch, which is funny and ridiculous. But Vivo's Apex solution is to have a pop-out selfie camera, which is actually a really great solution for having kind of a clean front-facing design.
Wait, can you explain a notch to me on the iPhone X? Because I'm confused on that. What is it?
So here, let me just pull it out. So really, the kind of the first phone that had a notch was Essentials phone, but it wasn't to like kind of the degree that everybody
Oh,
else
it's
is
just
doing
at
it
the
now.
top
So
of the
yeah,
screen.
just kind of look
It's the top of
around.
the screen.
So
It's the top of the screen.
yeah, it's basically the top of the screen.
Okay.
And like the
That's
top
not
of the
that
screen,
big.
there's like notches on it, and then a lot of Android phones are now starting to do notches.
I know the S8 has a notch too.
And it's the S8.
But
No,
it's like
the S8 doesn't have a notch.
the S8 Plus, my bad.
No, it doesn't.
Is that not a
They
notch?
don't have notches.
Oh.
The Samsung's phones don't have notches on them, but a lot of like I know the Zen phone made by Asus has a notch on it, and a couple of other phones. But Vivo went the other way with their Apex concept phone and didn't do a notch and had a pop-out selfie camera, which I think is a good solution to that problem. Another big feature of the Vivo Apex is its in fingerprint like in the screen fingerprint sensor, which is actually really like insane because no phone like Vivo kind of did it before, but it was like a specific area on the phone that you had to do it. But Apex, basically a whole section of the phone is dedicated to that fingerprint sensor, which is actually really awesome. And they make it look really nice. That's kind of picture 8 is kind of an example of what it looks like. Just kind of looking at it.
I was just looking at a video of Samsung S8 Plus having a notch, and it looks god awful.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a notch. So like, can you get rid of the notch
On the S8?
on the? Well, not obviously. There's no notch on the S8.
Oh yeah. Well, on
Yeah,
the
but iPhone, yeah.
no, Apple is much like Samsung, in which they don't like to get rid of features on their phones.
Even if it's god awful.
Yeah. But yeah, Apex I feel like is the phone design of the future,
Yeah, definitely.
and I can't wait for it. All right, so that's just two of the phones. There's plenty of other phones that you kind of can look it up by typing in World Mobile Conference onto Google, and you can look at all the phones. But those are two of the great phones that came out this week. Talking a little bit about Fortnite, Season 3 came out last week, right?
Yeah. They are this week actually. The season came
Did
out.
it come out this
or
week?
no, last week.
Last week,
my
yeah.
bad.
Who kind of wants to talk about Season 3? Because I haven't been playing a lot of Fortnite recently. I've been very busy with work.
It's not really much about the season itself. It's mostly more about the game itself, which I really appreciate. It's like I just want to talk about how awesome it is that like the game is free to play and like how like cool that is. Because if you compare this game to PUBG, in my preference, I prefer PUBG. But at the same time, PUBG is $30 and this game is free. And the fact that this game is like free and it's been in development since 2011, I just learned that today by Hob. But I just find it like crazy how it's free to play. I mean, yeah, the devs get their money off people buying skins and stuff, but I just feel like it's really like underappreciated. And whenever people like talk crap on Fortnite, it's like, come on, it's a free to play game. Like, why you gotta hate on it, But yeah, that's just my point of view. And yeah, season 3 came out. Or
Yeah, and they got a lot of cool items. Looks like they have
Yeah.
astronaut suits, and then if you hit rank 100 or something like that, then you get like a kind of a John Wick skin, which is also like really sweet. They added a deagle.
And it's only $10 too. And the best part about it is they added more V-Bucks to it, so you can collect. They added V-Bucks, like more V-Bucks to the Battle Pass. And for those who don't know what V-Bucks are, it's basically getting it's in-game currency, which you have to pay for. So if you buy a Battle Pass, it costs like 1,000 V-Bucks. So that's $10.
Yeah.
And basically every season, if you want to get the skins, you have to pay $10 for the Battle Pass. But what they did this time, and what they're gonna do, what they said, what they're gonna do is you're gonna keep adding more V-Bucks to the Battle Passes, so you can save up those V-Bucks and you can buy the next Battle Pass for free. So that's pretty sick.
Yeah. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
A lot of new stuff came with the season 3 update.
Yeah.
If you want to check it
Well,
out.
it's just mostly skins, and they're adding jetpacks. They added a scopeless sniper. They added yeah, they removed the pump shot and stuff. But yeah, I don't really think going on your podcast. Let's Fortnite.
Yeah. So a lot of good changes coming to Fortnite. It's gonna get bigger for sure, and it's gonna be a close competition between that and PUBG. If PUBG can fix its cheater problem, which is another discussion entirely, which I don't want to go into at this podcast.
Well, we can go into it.
I don't really want to go into it.
We don't really have much else to talk about.
Actually, we do, which I will now segue into real life, talking about school shootings. Yep.
Oh God.
So,
that's your thing.
Kaka. Hello, brother. Are you there, Kaka?
What?
We are now talking about school shootings, which I know you are into politics quite a bit.
Just a little.
So what are your... because you weren't on the podcast last week, so I kind of want to ask you about kind of your thoughts on the school shootings happening.
It's a bad thing. It shouldn't happen. I mean, I don't know what specifics you want me to talk about.
Oh, you can kind of... because I know you hold more conservative viewpoints, and I was just wondering if you wanted to like kind of talk about kind of things that you think about, like what's happening with the aftermath, and kind of more specifically what should be done, like what kind of steps should be taken in order to reduce the amount of shootings that happen.
Well, I would say, for one, there definitely needs to be more action when it comes to tips and shit like that can lead to something. Like how, for the last one, apparently the FBI talked to this kid, but he was still able to buy a gun and do what he did with it. I guess one thing people are doing is like pointing fingers at like the NRA or whatever, when they're not necessarily to blame. I think the blame could be put more on probably the Broward County Sheriffs when they didn't do anything. They just sat outside.
Yeah.
And also the fact that, I guess, say it like gun-free zones don't really do anything.
For sure.
Stuff like that.
So yeah, NRA has been definitely getting a lot of blame for kind of the shootings, and people are like saying boycott NRA and all that, and people are starting to, and retailers are raising the prices to buy firearms to 21. And just so much has happened in the past couple weeks since the shooting, and it's been very sad to kind of see that fingers are kind of being pointed in the wrong place, because yeah, the NRA, I feel like they've done some scummy stuff because of their hard stance against gun control and even gun research, like they blocked the CDC's ability to like do gun research. But but it's like sad to see that the NRA is being blamed for a situation that they necessarily didn't cause, and it's easily probably could have been prevented by the deputies on hand, and if the FBI acted on the tips that they were given, because they got like 28 tips apparently, or 29, which is more than enough to easily check up on them and do something about it. And I just don't think it should have gotten to this point, the shooting, but it did anyway, and because of it, we need something needs to be done. So, and speaking of things that need to be done, we're gonna kind of talk about Trump's role in all of this and kind of what his reaction has been, which has been actually very surprising considering that he's been given $30 million in grants from the NRA and donations from them for his 2016 campaign. He's actually taken a more democratic stance on the issue, saying that we do need to come up with some form of control. Well, he doesn't say he's for gun control, but he definitely thinks something should be done, which I guess makes sense because, like, when you say gun control, you're talking more hardline stances, but what Trump wants is more in the middle stances, like I think more extensive background checks would help, which he says he wants to do, and there's just been a whole fiasco around him and his response to the situation.
Well, I guess I'll go into that. How I think the type of guns and the type of ammo that you can get shouldn't be restricted, but the type of person that can get them should be, like, say, okay, so I think any gun, like full autos or, SBRs, shit like that, you should be able to get, but
the people that can get them should be
more of a
restricted.
progress. Or you have to do more of a process to get them.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm trying to say is the problem is the person who has the gun and not the gun in of itself.
In of itself, yes. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, like I have a couple of guns. They're never gonna probably kill anybody.
As long the thing about firearms is that they
if
need to be
I don't
treated
have to
responsibly.
defend my life, they're not gonna kill anybody. They're just go and shoot targets and for fun and recreational use.
Yeah, hobby, which is perfectly fine.
Say, even if I had, what they call an assault weapon that was full auto and...
You said you're not going to kill someone with your shotgun, right? Didn't you tell us a story, like, 2 weeks ago that you were about to shoot someone or, like, stab him with your knife because it was, like, 12 at night and he was, like, creeping you out?
Well,
even though all he wanted was some directions?
Okay, listen.
That's what I'm saying.
No, okay,
you just said you're never going to kill anyone with your gun. Yeah, you said that to us. We were kind of shocked.
If I don't have to, if it's like my life is not being threatened. Like,
okay, but you said you were reaching for a shotgun and you were going to stab him because the shotgun wasn't close enough.
I didn't even
and all he wanted was some direction.
No. Okay. So, I'll tell the story because that's fucking way off, but okay. So that's
what you told me. That's what we heard. But
I got in my car after work. I turned it on and everything, and I turned on lights. My coworker called me. He's like, "Oh, your brake light's out," even though I just replaced it. I went there, got in the trunk. I was like, "Oh, the fucking cover fell off." So I was finagling with it, trying to get it put up. And keep in mind, this is like 11:30 at night. There's nobody in the parking lot. Like, it's me and then the other guy and like maybe one car or two cars, like way far out. So it's just me, and you can go anywhere. But I'm sitting there digging my trunk, trying to get the shit in there, and this guy walks up behind me, literally within a foot from behind me, and like keeps walking, which is good. And I'm guessing he saw that I had a gun case that had my shotgun in there, and he didn't want to try and mess with me. Like, I don't know if I would have, I kind of felt threatened in that position, because I didn't know he was there. My coworker didn't fucking say anything. And, I fished him out for that. But, me personally thinking, or in that moment I thought that because I had my gun there, it could have thwarted anything he was thinking of doing. Whether he was going to try and mug me or like stab me or something or whatever, he didn't want to mess with me. So
What
I
if
think
he
that,
wanted DM though?
I don't know. Who the fuck? Okay, so do you just walk up right behind somebody when you're asking for directions?
Was he right behind you then? Did he have a map? That's the real question. Because if he had a map and he was just trying to figure it
Dude
out,
with his hoodie on,
Okay,
walking right up next to me, and then kept on walking. If he wanted directions, he would have said, "Hey, bud," or something. Someone like that is not asking for directions. Something like that sketchy.
yeah, that's
Like,
pretty sus.
I don't buy that.
I don't know. First time you told me the story was completely way different, so I take back
It
what
could
I
have been
said.
different because that was like I'm pretty sure I told you the night of that it happened, and it was still kind of like, yeah, I was kind of shook. But yeah, that's how I felt that my gun protected me.
Yeah, and there's a case of having firearms, and like the thing about criminals is that it's already illegal to murder in the first place. So like if somebody's deciding to kill somebody, it's like, well, I'm sorry, hold on, I need to formulate this thought before I say it. If I'm going to kill somebody, oh, I don't have a gun, I guess I'll just use a knife, or I'll use a bomb, or something like that nature, or a truck. And we've seen examples of those happening many, many times, where people don't use guns necessarily, but they still kill a ton of people with the tool that they use.
Well, what about the few in London where you know, or in Britain or whatever the fuck it was, where they don't have access to guns, so what the terrorists do, they'll get in a van, go on the London Bridge, run over 47 people or something like that.
Yeah, they ran over
and
a ton
then
of
jump
people.
out with machetes and start slashing people. And because nobody there has guns, they can't protect themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just easy pickings for all those guys. Like they come in with weapons, the trucks, they just want to kill people, they run people over, they attack them with machetes.
Yeah. It's all just becomes a sad situation, really. But
The other thing, like in Australia, like people are saying, oh, just take away the guns in Australia. Well, yeah, you have a drop in gun violence.
Here's the thing you guys need to
There's less
understand, though.
guns,
Like, here's the thing you have to understand. No matter what you take away, no matter what you do, you can take knives, acid, literally drugs, every gun, everything away. There's still gonna be violence somehow. You still have your two fists. You still have.
that's the thing, exactly. Because like no matter what you do, it's not the tool that matters. Because you can have any tool that you want, you can still cause havoc.
That's where you can be wrong. It's like when you take away tools, then you won't have this as much as violence. If you look at UK, if you look at Australia, there hasn't been that many, or there has been attacks in the past couple of years, but not as much as every other week.
The problem here's the thing.
Mass shooting.
What you see here, though,
like,
is you see a stark difference in, like, I believe we have a mental health issue and definitely an issue with the media, because every time this happens, their face gets put on the media and their name gets put out there and they get glorified for killing however many people. And, depending on how many you kill, you get more fame. So it's like, for someone who's very fucked up and, wants to do something like that, it's just kind of encouraging to have that type of, support from the media.
I don't know, man. I mean, everyone's got their own view on the MD, and no one's really gonna change their mind about it. But I mean, my point of view on it is there's not. I mean, and it's in the facts too. There's not as much as violence. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'd love to protect myself, but there's other things I could use to protect myself, like pepper spray, tasers.
Well, I mean, that's.
And sometimes,
but
the thing about those tools is that sometimes they're not as effective. Sometimes they just don't work.
They're not as effective as guns. I agree with you on that. But I prefer ineffective tools like that versus having a school shooting every other week, or like a mass shooting, or like the Las Vegas shooting, and having people injured and having people killed. And at the end of the day, it's really, do you want to just be selfish and protect yourself? And well, that's not really selfish, because everyone wants to protect themselves. That's completely fair. Or do you want to reduce mass violence or mass attacks?
Well, the thing is,
It's that simple. When you
the
hold on,
amount of
sorry, let me just finish real quick. When you have pepper spray, a knife, or a taser, you don't feel as powerful. When you have a gun, you feel power. If you shot a gun before, if you can confirm this, right, Picard? When you shot a gun, it felt good, right? When you're shooting targets, you said when the day you came back, you said it was fun. It felt good. Same thing with if you're like trying to defend yourself, you're the one in power. Obviously, a gun's always gonna be better
Well, no, not
than a knife.
necessarily.
What
Well,
do you mean?
the thing about guns is it's basic equalizer of force. Like, say somebody, like a 24-year-old female that doesn't have much strength and carries a gun, can actually defend herself against someone that's like 40 and is like some big guy that just wants to rape her. Like, she can defend herself. But if she had like pepper spray or taser, like she can get it wrestled out of her hand, or pepper spray doesn't always work depending on even a taser doesn't work a lot of times depending on if they're on something or people's body chemistry just resists that type of.
I agree with you on that too. Like I said, guns are definitely there to protect yourself. You could be 12, right? And some like buff, like 20-year-old man who's like super ripped with a knife chases you. The 12-year-old can easily win.
And
I agree with you, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, it depends on how you look at it. Do you prefer a huge mass attack every other week or every month, or do you prefer attacks very minimum? Or who knows? Maybe there's a bunch of attacks in the UK and Australia, but the media doesn't cover it.
That's probably what happens.
The thing is, there's actually a lot more murders that happen by pistols and other, weapons in other parts of the country that aren't like mass killings, but they're just like regular homicides or whatever that amass way more deaths. Like, I think, was it the weekend of the shooting where 17 people were killed? 33 people were killed in Chicago. And nobody cares about that. I mean, Chicago has very strict gun control. But yet the gangs and everything, they all still get their guns. They all run around and just kill people. And that's something that the media doesn't care about.
I've never heard of Chicago having strict gun controls, but
they do.
Do they though?
Like the inner cities where they have strict gun control, you have guns in the hands of people that shouldn't have them, like criminals and people like that, drug dealers that shouldn't have guns. They get them anyway because their jobs that they do, they're out of the law anyway. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I said, it's just a topic that's gonna it's all on your point of view. It's something that'll never really get solved because it really just depends on your point of view on it.
The thing about
I think
here's the thing about gun control. It's all a matter of yeah, it's exactly kind of what Rafe said. It's like, do you want? At the end of the day, it's all about the content of the character.
Yeah.
Because if we don't have guns, imagine if guns were never invented. I'm pretty sure, if we had the culture that we have now, just with no guns, we'd probably see a lot of knife killings, or we'd probably see a lot of chemical killings, or bomb killings, or all these other kind of killings from other sources. Yeah. Because people are just bad people, and people want to blame it on other things. They don't want to blame themselves. People never want to blame themselves. People never want to admit they're wrong. And that is the problem with society today, is that people don't want to take personal responsibility.
Yeah, no, you're right. At the end of the day, it's not about,
we could ban guns,
Knives has something to do with it, but at the end of the day, what really matters the most is mental health. We have to...
Exactly.
It's a solution we can never fix, so that's the thing. No matter how much you try, there's 7 billion people on this planet. No matter what you do, no matter what you try, there's always going to be some moron out there that can... think about it, really. Literally anything creepy, anything, that's really whack, right? It's probably already been done before.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, the thing about the background checks and everything, the last time I bought a gun where I bought my shotgun, sent in my background check, got it back in 10 minutes, I got approved. There's no way you really... Sure, I've gotten approved before, but they don't even... go.
Yeah,
back
exactly.
to,
The
oh,
background
this-
checks, in America are
You
a
can-
joke. They're like a
Yeah.
serious joke. Like it's not even a background check. It's like, oh, let's see. Okay, this is like his identity. Okay, he's good. Like if you look
Yeah.
at like Japan, like their background checks, those go deep. Like those go really deep. It takes like a long time to get approved. And like they definitely have like a ton of other steps, but like those steps make them have one of the lowest
Yeah,
homicide rates
I
in the
agree
world.
with that. That's something Kakan and I were saying, and like, we're both hold on. Yeah, he's showing me through a window. Watch out. Sorry, I didn't mute my mic. I was talking Fortnite.
Playing
yeah.
Fortnite now, like what we were talking
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah. Literally talking about shooting someone with a gunfight. But yeah, like Kakan and I are like the complete opposite when it comes to gun control, but we still agree on one thing, is we need better background checks. Like, people can just hop in and hop out with a gun. I could do it tomorrow if I wanted to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Go in tomorrow and get denied like that one reporter. Like, look how easy it is to buy a gun gets denied.
Yeah.
to be
Like
fair,
the
he was
Constitution talks about a well-regulated militia, and I actually watched a video about this. Like apparently militias defines, like it was made in, like there was a law that defined militia in like the 1796 or something like that.
Well,
That defined what a militia was, and militia was like any white male basically. And of course that would probably be expanded to everybody now because like we're
And-
different from
well,
them.
yeah, another thing is,
And like,
Yeah.
so it makes sense to put in common sense gun control, like extensive background checks, because that's what makes something well regulated. Because here's the thing about the writing of the Constitution. They didn't think, they thought about our future. They thought about our future, right? So like, freedom of speech, they thought about that. They're like, okay, this is what's needed for a free and open and well-thinking society. They looked at the like Fifth Amendment. They're like, all right, this seems fair to make sure like prisoners are kept and like aren't abused, And that same thing with the Second Amendment. Like, even though we have more powerful, stronger weaponry now, we also have better media now. We have better, we can type more words than they did before. We can spread our word out more than we did before. So the problem so it's not a Constitution thing, really, because they thought about this, right? And they wanted the Second Amendment not because for the enjoyment of people. If it was for the enjoyment of people, it would be a law, right? But it's an amendment, and the reason why it's an amendment, and one of the first three amendments, which makes it even more important, is because it's made to go against tyrannical governments. And anybody that says that a tyrannical government will never happen are literally idiots. Like, you
Venezuela.
shouldn't trust them on thinking, because if you trust your government,
I mean, look at
that
net
is a
neutrality
lie.
Right now. Yeah, like look at net
That makes
neutrality.
sense.
because you look at all these kind of unstable countries in
Yeah,
like
I
the
know,
Middle
100%.
East and in Africa, like they're having civil wars, like a ton, like Syria. Like, should you really trust your government with what you do? Having
be
doubt
fair,
in
though,
government
literally
isn't
everyone in Syria has a
cynicism.
gun.
It is realism. Don't trust your government with anything. Trust yourself. I don't know. That's what I think.
Mhm.
But we still
Yeah.
need that well-regulated part of the amendment, because I feel like everybody running around with fully automatic weaponry is kind of insane. I don't think that's...
Yeah. Well, there was I don't know if it was a Supreme Court case or if it was just a ruling on the law, but basically the Second Amendment, entails all U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
So the well-regulated militia, what it means is all U.S. citizens.
All U.S. citizens,
Supreme Court
yes.
ruling. So that's kind of set in stone.
Yeah.
And another thing is, like, with Australia, they took away, most of the guns at least. And, sure, their gun violence went down, but then when you expand the graph a little bit, you see, oh, look, knife homicides went skyrocketed. So it all came down at, like,
Content of the
same pace it
character.
was.
like it doesn't matter
Customize
what
the
tool you
guns
have,
like
you'll always be able to kill somebody in the end, or do serious damage. All right. Anything else we want to continue on this kind of discussion that we're going on today? This has actually been a really good discussion, I'd say, so far. If we
Sorry,
wanna
I
add
was
any more.
pushing my sound is muted.
Do you want to add anything, Rafe?
Oh, dude, no, I mean, at the end of the day, like we said, you know, it's just, it really comes down to mentality. I personally think gun control would be nice, but, I mean, you know, I don't think it's ever going to happen. It's America, you know? It's kind of like my dad was telling me about it. He was saying, you know, in Afghanistan and Pakistan, or Pakistan has, like, 4, like, what do you call it, 4 states, I guess? Like, you know, America, 50 states, right? Pakistan has 4 in it.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I forgot the name. It's like something in Urdu, and it's like really long, complicated. But one of those, there's like, sorry, someone's talking again. He just made me laugh. But, well, yeah, I was saying there's like 4 states. One of the states, there's no gun control, or like there's complete gun control. It's kind of like the UK. There's the second one, and the third one, the fourth one, where they're all like, you can go ham on it. Like you can have guns. No one cares. Like when you get like for your 12th birthday or 13th birthday, you literally get a gun because it's like it's pride, you know. And they've tried multiple times to take away guns from those people, but they simply refuse. There's more violence on the street. There's more stuff. And my dad told me like at the end of the day, it really just comes down to like pride, you know.
Yeah.
Like safety in America, you know, we have pride for, or some people have pride for their guns. Some people, you know, it's their like it's everything to them. It means a lot to them. So. I personally don't think we're ever going to be able to get rid of guns, and I don't mind too much. I would prefer it, but, I mean...
Yeah.
Well, I think a step in the right direction would be the people who try to take away guns should learn about what guns are and how they operate.
Yeah.
Because you have
definitely.
lawmakers who are putting it into a law. Like, if you've read the 2018 assault weapons ban, they put on there that you can't have 2 pistol grips or a barrel shroud on a pistol. And tell me... You know, what pistol has a barrel shroud on it? You know, or even some modern guns that, you know, what do they have a barrel shroud on for? Like, there's one gun I can think of, which is the Chris Vector, and that only has that because you have to have a 16-inch barrel. So,
yeah, that's definitely the problem. I don't really trust politicians and the media with kind of talking about gun control because I saw this thing about MSN. They were talking about they're talking about gun control and like this is the power of an AR-15, and when they're actually holding a shotgun and they shot a shotgun calling it an AR-15 that destroyed a watermelon. Like obviously shotguns are going to destroy a watermelon, but they're passing it as an AR-15, which just goes to show like how stupid they are like when it comes to talking about firearms.
Yeah, it's actually funny how little power the AR-15 has as when it's chambered into 2.3 or 5.56.
Yeah.
Sure, 5.56 is a little hotter, but like honestly, what the AR-15 I'm gonna be buying, it's like not even chambered in 5.56. It's chambered in 300 blackout, which is a 7.62 by 35.
Yeah.
Because with that, you can actually take down deer and elk and use it for an all-around hunting rifle and target rifle.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I feel like we need, if we're going to write gun control laws, we need to have people that actually know what guns are writing the laws, because Congress actually does pull like laws from sites, which is another discussion entirely as well. But yeah, I feel like if you're going to write gun control laws, have gun experts write them, because they all know what they're talking about. And then if the media is trying to explain firearms to the general public, they should bring firearm experts onto their shows, because that's the best way you're going to know about firearms and what exactly you're dealing with. So,
well, whenever they bring firearm experts onto the show, they always demonize them for not caring about, you know, kids that die.
And then that's the problem too. You also need to present them in a neutral tone, which can be difficult for some networks out there. But
another thing with the what makes a rifle an assault weapon, one of the things was a grenade launcher or rocket launcher. Which I personally have never seen a single civilian
Have a
in the US
grenade
ever
launcher or a
own
rocket,
a grenade launcher
or
or a
rocket launcher.
that they then attach to the AR.
Yeah.
Because getting them is a fucking pain in the ass, and then also, affording one. Yeah, good luck. That's not
Yeah,
happening.
no, that's so stupid. Even if you do have one, you're probably marked in some police database somewhere for sure. But
Honestly, that's probably reserved for like.
that's probably reserved for only
Officers
like
who
the
served,
most
like, 40
trusted
years
people in
in the
government, like ever,
military,
like CIA,
FBI.
Secret Service type people. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they get rocket launchers on their fucking ARs.
Rocket launchers. I can't get over that. How do you put a rocket launcher on a freaking AR?
I don't know.
I guess it happens.
They put it in a law, so now you can't do it if they pass it.
Yeah. But 4 key takeaways. I mean, well, 3 key takeaways. I guess you could say 4. But 1, it's not about the tool. It's about the person. So content of the character. Gun laws and news should be presented by firearm experts because they're the experts of the field and they need to be the ones that are doing it. And then there needs to be some kind of control in the first place and more extensive background checks and something that's not super bare bones. So, anything else as a takeaway from this? Just kind of wrapping it up.
Not really.
Rafe?
Yeah. Or it all
Content.
depends on the person, their view on it. Like, if you like guns, then you're gonna want more. You don't want guns to go away. If you don't like guns, you're gonna obviously
Yeah.
want guns to go away. But
Yeah.
I mean, my preference is, like I said, I prefer guns going away, but I don't care too much. Like, I think it's a little bit too radical for all of it to be gone. I do agree with a little bit of protection, but at the same time, seeing all this like mass shootings and mass bombs just kind of worries me a bit.
Yeah.
What if that happens to me one day? But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully
Alright.
not.
Well, it looks like that's the 3rd episode of the Cast Kings. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I guess we'll see you in the next one. I'm thinking about changing the schedule to be more on Thursday nights, and then kind of doing it from there. But I'll be posting that on the Twitter of the Cast Kings if you want to check that out, which is at the Cast Kings, at capital T, C, and K on Twitter, the Cast Kings. And then you can also follow me on Twitter at ParkerMonD, capital P, M, and D, ParkerMonD. That'll do it for me, and that'll do it from us. Everybody, take care, and have a good rest of the day or whatever you're doing if you're watching this. Ciao!